Welcome to another episode of Home Sweet Home. My name is Rod McCall.
My name is Bryce Runge. Welcome back, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Yay.
Every time I say that, I think of Frosty the Snowman.
Oh.
But he goes, Happy Birthday. When he puts on the hat and he comes to life.
I don't remember that one.
Okay.
I was just thinking about like in the text message, when you get Happy New Year, open your phone.
Oh, yeah, and your phone, you get all the fireworks.
Yay!
Yeah, I don't know how people do that, but I got probably 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to do it myself.
You just type in Happy New Year.
Oh, that was it?
That's it. Press send.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the recipient, when they open it, yay!
Well, I'll be dang.
You should try it.
You know what? Later today, I may do that.
Just
So
don't
you
text
get
me.
one.
Well, was it a Happy New Year for you?
Well, it definitely was. Low key.
That's good. I feel like this thing is in the way of me looking at your strikingly handsome face.
Oh, yeah, as I'm sitting here in a shirt and tie today.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Except for that, is it ugly tie day?
No, it's not ugly tie day. It's celebration of...
Folks, Rod was wearing a blue, let me describe, fit check. Kids in school will say, fit check where you get your outfit from. Like, where's your shirt from? My shirt is from Macy's. My tie is from the trash can. Rod would say that. Pants are from whatever. You don't heard the kids saying that?
No.
Okay, whatever. All I'm saying is Rod is wearing a KU tie. If you're a KU fan.
Anybody that knows me knows that, Kansas fan. And, I had got to show off.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay.
You said KU. We're talking KU. I'm like oblivious. I'm over here in my own little world. I actually got you a gift, Rod.
Well, I'll be sucker. What? Ooh.
Do you know what it is?
Yes, that is a fantastic picture of Coach Bill Self, signed by Coach Self.
Signed Bill Self photo.
Of him.
Authenticated.
Yes. Outstanding.
Do you have that one?
I do not have this one, no. I've got other stuff by Bill Self.
Nice.
But no, thank you.
I came across that a while back, and I thought of you, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to try and grab that.
Well, thank you.
And I did. You're welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Well, thanks. I'll get a frame for that, and Sherry will say, take it to school and put it in your classroom.
Put it on your nightstand in your bedroom.
Ooh, yeah. Put it up there, Like,
have them facing you when you go to bed. Lean over and be like, good night, Bill Self.
Okay, that might be a little on over the top. I wouldn't do that.
Anyways.
Well, thanks.
Thought of you. I was actually thinking of you.
Okay.
But
in a positive way.
Yes, in a positive way.
Anyways,
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you. The holidays are always, a mixed bag of emotions, and mostly positive, and it's kind of nice having little ones around.
Yeah.
I think little kids make Christmas or make the holidays a lot more enjoyable than if you're a bunch of adults.
Right. Yeah.
So it was fun. We did a lot of neat things and ate a lot of food, and now it is 2023, and
Crazy.
My New Year's resolution was the same as it has been for the last 5 or 6 years, and that is to make no New Year's resolutions.
There you go. So isn't it, though, making a New Year's resolution? Because you're like, my New Year's resolution
is the same as last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before.
Not to make one.
So.
Okay.
Anyway, how about yours?
I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Have a pretty good one? Enjoyed with the fam in town?
New Year's, I'll go backwards. New Year's was just kind of blah. We didn't really do anything. We watched a bunch of bowl games, which were really good. They were phenomenal bowl games. We actually stayed up till like 11:30.
Wow.
Which is crazy. But we were in bed.
Yeah, so were we.
And then fell asleep.
No, we stayed awake and we did see the Dallas fireworks, which included the drone show. Nice. And I got to tell you, Somebody say go on Facebook and check it out on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I will say that it was freaking awesome. What I was seeing
Really?
on Facebook was even better than on TV because the TV was real glitchy. But
Oh, wow.
the Dallas fireworks, I highly recommend it because they did an amazing thing with the drones.
So they were like drone fireworks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they still had regular fireworks, but
Okay.
the regular fireworks were drowned out by the drones, in my opinion. In fact, we could do away with regular fireworks and let's just do the drone show.
You might save money in the end.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So
That's cool.
But again, you can check it out on Facebook if you look up
Nice.
for
I would actually have to check
Dallas fireworks show
Very cool. Very
or
cool.
Dallas New Year's.
Dallas New Year's. I'm sure you could find it by Googling it.
Yeah, that's true too.
But yeah, no, it was really low key. Suzanne's dad came over and we just had a whole bunch of like happen. We went to HEB, the new
Okay.
HEB in Frisco.
Okay.
Do not recommend going there on New Year's Eve in the afternoon. I'm pretty sure everyone in Frisco decided to go to that one. But we made it through.
Okay.
Didn't kill anyone.
Good.
Didn't lose my patience.
Very good.
That was very good. And then just grab some stuff, a bunch of like,
Snacky food.
yeah, snacky foods, and we were pretty impressed. We'll give it another opportunity. We'll go back middle of the day when no one's there, hopefully.
Okay.
But that was New Year's. Christmas was it was good. It was busy.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Always
busy.
is.
It always is. My parents were in town, and then we got the kids, and then her dad was over, spent the night too, and then her brother and sister came over with their two kids, and I enjoy seeing them as well on Christmas Day. But it was fun. We had dinner and all that. But yeah, it flew by. I could tell you that. I looked at Suzanne and I said, "This year it really feels like we literally put that Christmas tree up."
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, the kids had a blast and they got all kinds of stuff. And
Santa was good.
Santa was good, and we had a good time. My parents had a good time. Excuse me. And yeah, that was it.
One of the things that sometimes happens when you get big families together is you have to swallow a lot of comments. I don't know. Maybe it isn't with you, but there are times when, get together with family and I have to remind myself, you don't need to say that. Don't need to say that. Don't need to say that either.
And definitely don't say that.
Yeah. Now, there are times where, mouth engages faster than brain. But, it's, holidays can bring up both the best and the worst in me. And I will say I'm better than what I used to be. Especially when I was, married the first time.
Right.
Because I felt like so many times I was holding stuff in.
Yeah.
Things I wanted to say, but couldn't. Things I wanted to do, but wasn't allowed to. And so, I don't know. I found that that wasn't as happy. Christmas didn't used to be as happy.
Yeah.
Now, it's still really good because, Eric was real little and all that. But
Right.
because I think Christmas works a lot better when you have little kids than when you do.
For sure.
When you don't. But I don't know. You ever felt that way?
Yeah. I could even say that this Christmas was a little bit like that.
Okay.
It was fun, but I think just that everything that we've been going through, and again, not packing stuff in and not don't say that, kind of left a little bit of a bitterness around the holiday, if that makes sense. And so, and then you've got a ton of people in your home, and then everyone's pulling all kinds of different directions, and you don't like when someone does this or that, and it becomes a cluster. Sometimes.
So are you saying that some of that anger gets pushed down?
100%.
Okay. And I think in some ways, I think it's important that you temper your statements, your comments, it's okay to feel that way, but it's not always okay to open up that can of worms, because it really doesn't solve anything.
Right.
But the reason why I ask you about that, because I ran across this article.
Okay.
By a lady, and she has a master's degree in, let's see, what was that? She has a master's degree, or a master's of mental health degree.
Okay.
And she was talking about repressed anger and some of the things that can come as a consequence of repressed anger.
Yeah.
And she even identified 5 key characteristics to help you understand, are you feeling this way? Are you, I mean, again, there's healthy ways to deal with your anger.
Right.
Exercise is one of them. I have commented to Sherry on more than one occasion that I'd like to get rid of that pool table that's in our garage. And what I would love to replace it with is a heavy bag in the corner.
Oh.
Because I would love to have, and I mean, even when I was going through the divorce, I said to myself many times, I wish I had a heavy bag.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the divorce group, actually, he had a barber shop, and it was down in downtown Dallas, and it was a boxing theme. So we had an event there. He said, "Hey, come on down, y'all check out." And I was having a good time hitting that heavy bag, hitting the speed bag. I mean, I'm not a boxer, never had any training. I am definitely the opposite of whatever Rocky Balboa is.
You wouldn't step into a ring with Mike Tyson, is what you're saying?
I wouldn't step in there with one of those balloon clowns. But it was fun, and it was highly therapeutic.
Sure.
And so, I mean, letting that anger go in a better way. I find that, I love my exercise.
Yeah.
That my exercise allows me to exercise out, some of that feeling of anger and frustration. And so when I was reading this article, and she was talking about the 5 symptoms, or what she calls the 5 symptoms of repressed anger, I'm going, wow.
Okay.
I can kind of relate to that.
Sure.
And so, because we've talked, I think many people are aware of what can happen, the unhealthiness that comes from. I think we've kind of hinted at some of this at, other times we've talked, but the anger can come from many, it can be something recent. It can be something going back to your childhood,
right?
That can cause, these feelings, and we repress them, but repressing them is highly unhealthy.
Right.
So I thought, well, maybe today, because spending time with extended family that we don't normally spend a lot of time with during the holiday season can generate some anger. And I thought, well, maybe we could talk about it.
Sure. Oh, I love it. I'm sure I might be able to chime in quite a bit here.
Okay, fair enough. And again, I find that, I repress anger, especially early, in the first marriage.
Yeah.
And with the help of a therapist, I have come to better terms with my own anger. Mm-hmm. And I mean, to where the only real place you're going to, well, no, I can't say that. The only real place is behind the wheel, because sometimes it leaks out in other ways.
Jeez.
But I mean, because basically, anyway, so one of the first symptoms is anger, depression. All right. The idea of feeling sad for no reason, sense of feeling hopeless or empty, no motivation, no energy, no goals, no wanting to push towards goals that maybe you've had previous. I mean, these are, crying for no reason. I mean, these are your common symptoms of depression.
Yeah.
And so when you repress anger, well, she's saying that, it can come back out in depression.
Got it. And that makes sense. I heard recently, anger, obviously unhealthy. There's a healthy version, right? Uh-huh. Using anger in a healthy way. And then there's the unhealthy way. unfortunately for me, I think that unhealthy side has kind of reared its head over the last several months, which I'm trying to correct, and channel the whatever anger I do have in a healthy manner. But I certainly see repressing anger turning into what she said, like depression.
Mm-hmm.
Those unresolved issues, and you just keep packing it in,
Sure.
and then what happens, right? And I could tell you, over the last couple years, and we've talked off air, and I'll be openly and transparent with everyone. We've talked off the air over some issues that have, come up in my life where I would say that there's probably a result, depression is a result of some of those things, for what we've been going through for my wife and I, but I think the anger side and packing it in, and then, you next thing you know, you're being a jerk to everyone and your attitude is negative, and then the entire environment is now toxic because you haven't dealt with what you need to deal with. You have, and so that's kind of where I've been, and I agree with that the depression is a result of that repressed anger.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, and it can come in many different ways. I mean, okay, you're being bullied at school. Again, you got a 7th or 8th grade year old kid. All right. But you're at school and you're being bullied. Mm-hmm. Okay. How do you lash out? How do you respond to that? Well, you want to, but you can't, or whatever ways maybe you've tried have backfired. So you shut down. And so that anger feeds on itself as you have repressed it. Because again, dealing with a bully, heck, I was married to a bully. You can have a bully at work. So whether you're an adult or a kid, you can still be bullied. You
can still have a bully.
And so, and sadly, well, this person even talks about, that sometimes that can lead to, with that, when you suppress it, well, that can lead to suicide. Taking, anyway, so again, dealing with depression, that's how it can manifest.
Okay.
So again, that's one symptom. All right. A second one, and this was something I also did, was subjugation.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, they're talking about something that maybe it's something that you've learned, something maybe you've been taught by family, something through religion, maybe at school, but you've been kind of told, well, just deal with it. Well, that's just them, like boys being boys, or
got it. Okay. I'm tracking now.
Or, okay, you're being, you're the new kid at work, and the older, the more seasoned people are picking on you, they're dumping on you, you get the crap jobs. Mm-hmm. Well, okay, at what point do you actually move past that?
Right.
And you're no longer the new kid. Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Senior street freshman poorly at school.
Right.
Okay, but if I'm being treated poorly and I'm a junior, okay, you don't have to take that. But maybe you've been told, well, just take it. Well, just deal with it. I can say from my marriage the first time, I was taking a lot of abuse, what I've now identified as abuse, because, well, okay, in marriage, you just forgive a lot. Mm-hmm. That's what happy marriages do, because, being raised a Catholic, well, Catholics don't get divorced. So, again, there's family, there's religion coming into play, subjugation. And so being, again, squashing it down.
Right. So basically subjugation is avoidance. Is that another way to put it?
That's actually a good, I could see that. Yeah. And here, in fact,
kind of like what, we've talked about this before, brush it under the rug. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of, thing. I just want to make sure I'm following along here.
No, I think that's actually a really good way of explaining that, because sometimes you get, well, maybe I'm just being too sensitive.
Okay.
And so what do? Okay. You're just stop being this or stop, it's not as bad as what you think it is.
Right.
Or you're just, stop wearing your emotions on your shoulders.
So growing up, I heard, well, I have 3 older brothers.
Okay.
And I won't say exactly what they said.
No, yeah.
But I got called a lot of things, and I would say they were
sissy, a pansy.
Yes, all that. Don't be such a
girl.
Blank. Yes. Grow an extra layer of skin. Thin. Don't be so thin skin. You blank, whatever. So I. And it's something that I even wrote about a while back was, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, we know
words actually can.
Words have that powerful muscle in your mouth called the tongue. It does some damage. And so I'm a recipient of that, and I'm sure that my mouth has opened up and done some damage along the journey as well. I'm not off limits. Sure. I'm just it has damaging effects, and so I get that. So subjugation, avoiding conflict, and then you're packing it down and you're avoiding, and
that feeds depression.
Right. With Suzanne and I in our marriage, that conflict resolution is one of our core values. We talk about it all the time, although lately we've struggled to get there a lot of times.
Okay, yeah.
We have 2 little girls, and then we have Braddocks, and we have jobs, and then her dad, and I feel like I'm making excuses, and now lately this has to become a priority now. We have to get back to these are our values, and this is what we need to stand by, and we need to operate in that vision for what we want our marriage to look like. And so, we can't, there has been times where I'm not going to say anything.
No.
I want to avoid that because I don't want to ruffle the feathers, or
this isn't the time, or
right. Or one of the kids, one of our limitations, one of the 3 limitations that we have. Anyways, you kind of get what I'm saying.
Sure.
So that makes total sense.
So anyway, so that's number 2. All right. Number 3. Number 3 is paranoia.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, I'm going to read just straight from this. Rather than acknowledge that something has caused you to feel hostile, you project these feelings onto others and perceive others to be hostile to them in response. I can say that I misread. And so therefore I'm assuming, well, when you said this is what you really meant. Okay. Or when you did that because you knew I was going to respond or feel this way.
Okay.
In fact, I've been on the receiving end of that accusation many times, and it's kind of like, well, no, actually, I wasn't thinking that. And sometimes I have been on the delivery end of that paranoia.
Got it.
And it's kind of like, and the other people are going, well, Sherry in particular, no, actually, that wasn't.
Right.
And again, in the first marriage, this was a big issue.
Yeah.
Both of us were accusing each other of things that weren't really there.
Right.
And so the paranoia, again, you're shoving that anger down rather than actually talking about it. Well, now you're jumping to conclusions.
Right.
And so when I was reading through that one, I'm going, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I think we both have done that. I know I have. And then it's like you really figure out or find out, wow, that wasn't even remotely close to reality. And then you feel stupid. And I've been there, and man, it really is, the mind is a battlefield, man. And if you're not careful, the inner critic will get you to get you jacked up.
Oh, and that's
jacked up.
And I think that was kind of the point of them putting this into their 5 reasons or symptoms. And it hit a home run with me
Yeah.
as far as, yes, I've been on both sides of this. And when you get down to it, well, why are you feeling this way? Well, because unresolved issue.
Right.
We didn't resolve something beforehand, weeks ago, months ago, and this has been building. And I mean, I remember in one of my college sociology classes, you have a fight with, that special someone,
Right.
and they called it an everything but the kitchen sink fight.
Oh, yeah.
And why do you have them? Because you didn't address things when they were tiny.
Right. Yep.
And so you repress that anger, you shove it down, and now you draw wrong conclusions.
Yep.
And so better to, again, we've talked about this, in other ways, address it when it's tiny rather than when it's really huge and out of control.
Right. Yeah. Man, I feel like that's exactly what has been taking place, honestly, just and transparently. That's trying to carry the load in our house and be the leader and the father, the husband and the father is very difficult. Creating and maintaining a thriving marriage is very difficult.
Oh, amen.
And many people get to a place where they just flip the quit switch because, I don't know, maybe they just thought, oh, it's going to be cool, right?
It'll be easy.
It'll be easy, but it's really not.
It's work.
It is.
It's hard work.
And we've talked about communication several times, and what we tried to implement a while ago, I keep hitting this thing. A couple of years ago was a one-on-one. Like if it were work related, I have a one-on-one with my boss. So, and she has one-on-one with her coworkers, all the time. And we're like, we need to do that. And we did it once, and then, there's baby. Maybe we tried it again. There's another baby. There's a death. There's fill in the blank. There's a lot of things, and we've had a lot of things that have come up. And I don't want to say attacks.
Maybe you've been doing the one-on-ones wrong, because one-on-one and then you get a baby. Do another one-on-one and then you get another baby.
That's not what I meant, Rod. That's what I'm talking about. Like one-on-one.
Okay,
but I see how that could totally make sense. No, like you sit down, you have a one-on-one, you talk about, what issues there are. How could I make you better?
Okay.
So we've had a couple come to Jesus talks recently, and we're bringing back the one-on-one. Like this has to be a priority, right? We both have been mad. We've realized that we have encountered some challenges.
Yeah, you guys have been hit with a lot of curveballs.
And, this February, we're going to celebrate only 5 years. So in the span of 5 years, and I have to keep telling myself that, because we do have a very strong, loving, caring, kind, compassionate marriage. There's no doubt about it. It is difficult. And I have the jerk and the anger has reared its head recently because I have packed things down. And so that regression thing. And so, we've had some conversation. We have to do these things, XYZ. The one-on-one is how could, just a couple examples is like, what can I do better? Or how can I serve you this week? What areas can I improve upon? Or what are some highs? What are some lows? Kind of similar stuff like that. But we know that needs to be a consistent thing, because everything you've been talking about, it's you said something about a little bit here and there. Here's a little piece, a little challenge here and there, and then something that we talked about, like we're having these conversations, the gap is closing, we're having them more and more, and we're going to turn around and be like, how do we get from here to here? And it's blown up here because all these little moments where we didn't have a conversation, we should have had a conversation. And then next thing you know, 3 years later, like, holy crap, there's a whole lot of stuff that's happened. And now we're left to deal with it. And our marriage has taken a blow.
Sure.
And
that works not just for marriage, but for any kind of relationship.
Any relationship, yeah. Any relationship. So, I don't know, just kind of opening up my heart and sharing that with you.
Well, thanks. Because that ties in, when you feel that way, that ties in right in with the fourth symptom, and that is the idea of self-righteousness. And when you repress that anger, it can frequently be paired with, and I'm going to directly quote here, with perfectionist or obsessive compulsive tendencies. And it can manifest itself in a self-righteous way, in which the person becomes highly critical of themselves and by default, or not by default, but in consequence, in other words, it also goes towards being critical of others.
Okay.
And so therefore, and then you have these unrealistic standards, and it's kind of like, well, wait a minute, why aren't you living up to these standards? I'm not living up to them. You're not living up to them. We're not living up to them. And so suddenly now, well, it's your fault because, or it's our fault because.
Right.
And it's kind of like, wait a minute, what's the we in this? You know, that's you, not me.
Right.
Well, then, and now you've got a whole other set of conversations. And so you get this idea of self-righteousness, of I'm right in my way. Or, you know, and I thought that was kind of interesting because I found myself, I judge people.
Yeah.
I ought to be wearing a robe for as judgy as I can get. And when Sherry listens to this, she'll be nodding her head like a bobblehead. And it's something I'm trying to work on. But I do this frequently.
Yeah.
And I will make an assumption. I'll judge people. And it's kind of like, well, and sometimes I'll judge, you know, somebody else's approach or their, how shall we say, their motivations. I'm going to judge your motivation as to why you're doing what you're doing. And that kind of goes then back to, you know, the issue of paranoia. And so the two, I think I can see how those two can relate very well to each other. You're fine. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm listening to you. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you are a jerk. Not you.
Oh, good. I was getting worried there for a second.
Not you. You are a jerk sometimes.
Well, yes, I know. I can be.
No, I'm thinking about myself because as you're telling me this, I'm reflecting on my behavior and how things. Man, that is spot on. That's scary spot on.
Well, and again, that's why I like talking about these kinds of things, because it's also for me. And I look at this and I'm going, okay, I do these things too. And so it helps me be more aware so that maybe I do them less often.
Yeah.
Because, I'm sorry.
No. I need to do them less often. Yes, like immediately. There are some areas where I've tried to be, well, I don't know if I've tried, maybe it's happened. I don't know. Like, you didn't load the dishwasher right kind of deal.
Which, boom, that ties in number 5.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
Like, you didn't take the trash out. And, you know, who's the recipient of that? A lot of times is Braddock's. And I feel like I'm coming from a place of, no, let's do it right. You know, versus being lazy about it or something, right? But, you know, tying in here and then looking back over the last couple of years, okay, wow, that makes total sense.
Well, and I am really bad at this. That being said, I think it was a family trait of being passive aggressive because, you know, okay, you talk about trash, okay, or the dishwasher, you know, you see Braddock's, you see Suzanne, and you go, well, good job loading the dishwasher, or thanks for unloading the dishwasher, or hey, good job taking that trash out. Well, that's passive aggressive. And why are you feeling that way?
Right.
Well, again, you're stuffing down that anger. And in my family, not so much Sherry and I, though I do carry a large chunk of this, I am very passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Or I'll be doing something, with a heavy sigh, whatever,
Yeah.
But again, it's repressed anger. I'm not addressing actually what's really making me angry, but I'm very good, sad to say, of being passive aggressive. And then when my family listens to this, they'll be doing the bobblehead on this one.
It's about time you admit it on air.
Oh, yes. Now the other part is doing something about it, but which again, that's kind of the point, but it's by understanding your repressed anger, healthy ways of dealing with it. Talk when you're feeling, and this is something that Sherry and I do, is we will, instead of talking when you're angry,
don't do it.
Take a step back and maybe wait an hour or two, maybe wait till the next day. And when I can do that, not only do we have better conflict resolution, I'm not stuffing down my anger, and I'm not as passive aggressive. Right. I'm not as paranoid. I'm not as self-righteous. I'm not as, well, it says subjugation, but I'm not as depressed.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the point that the author was getting towards, was find healthy ways and talk to the person that you're having the conflict with, but do it in a healthy way, do it in a respectful way. And that way, if you can do so, maybe then you will address these anger issues that are exploding in unhealthy ways that are causing more problems with your relationship with that individual.
Right.
So anyway, that's all I got.
I love it. I don't love that we experience it, but I love the fact that we're talking about it because it's helpful. Again, there's, I think you hit on some really, really important, powerful things, in dealing with anger. And again, there's, and we probably need to talk on how do we channel anger in a positive, healthy manner? I'm going to leave that up to you to figure out how we're going to do that. I think we need to follow up with something like that. We talked about how negative regressed anger is. And so just something to be alert and aware of. And I'm certainly taking notes and I'm going to do my best to apply.
Well, I am an angry person, and I have been learning better ways to have that anger not manifest itself in these and other more harmful ways.
Yeah. Well, good.
So I will say, way to go. Thank you very much for the present.
You're welcome.
I will show praise, and I will critique you off air.
Thank you. Just don't ever wear that tie here again. All right, brother. Hey, everyone. Happy New Year. Be safe.
Yes.
And
until next time.
Until next time.
All right. Well, happy 2023. I'm Rod.
I'm Bryce.
See ya.